Welcome to the first Kaiju Battle episode, the series where I take two Kaiju from the Toho universe, Legendary universe, or any other Kaiju out there, and put them up against each other to see who I think would reign supreme. Today I want to take a look at two Kaiju that I've already covered in my Kaiju Explained series, Mechani-Kong and the Showa era's MechaGodzilla. Let's take a look at our combatants. First off, we have MechaGodzilla 2 from the Showa era. Mecha-G comes in weighing in at over 40,000 metric tons, and he stands at a towering 50 meters or just over 160 feet tall. This version of Mecha-G was a good all-around fighter. The first Showa era MechaGodzilla was able to easily defeat King Caesar and was able to hold his own fighting both King Caesar and Godzilla. For the second version, MechaGodzilla teamed up with Titanosaurus, but Godzilla alone was able to defeat them. The Showa version was probably the best melee attacker of all three different eras of MechaGodzilla. The real strength of this version of Mecha-G, however, is his ranged attacks. He has a heavy arsenal that is fully capable of keeping a melee combatant at a distance. When weapons aren't enough to keep an enemy out of MechaGodzilla's safe space, he is capable of flight speeds of up to Mach 5 to maneuver out of harm's way. He's equipped with space beams that he is able to rapidly fire from his eyes, which are strong enough to lock with Godzilla's atomic breath. He's got revolving finger missiles on each hand that have been upgraded to 5 times their normal strength from the first incarnation of the Showa Mecha-G. Then there's the cross attack beam that fires from a port on his chest. This beam was powerful enough to cut through solid rock. He's also got the Hamyu shot, which is basically missiles that fire from his kneecaps, which penetrate a target before exploding. The feet are also equipped with high pressure homing missiles, and the robot Godzilla is also capable of firing missiles from his mouth as well. On the defensive side, he is equipped with the Defense Neo Barrier. This is a force field caused by spinning his head around in circles, strong enough to repel the likes of Godzilla himself. The space titanium construction of Mecha-G also makes him one tough opponent. Last but not least, if MechaGodzilla's head has been removed, this version has a laser firing apparatus located beneath the casing of the head. Along with all this, we need to take note that MechaGodzilla, just like Mechani-Kong, are both operated remotely. Now let's take a look at Mechani-Kong. Our robot Kong comes in at only 15,000 tons and stands at a mere 20 meters or just over 65 feet tall. Now right off, this just won't do. Mecha-G would have over twice the height and over twice the weight of Mechani-Kong. Unfortunately for us and him, Mechani-Kong was not built in order to fight other Kaiju. He was built by Doctor Who to mine Element X. In order for him to have any chance in this fight, we're going to have to alter him a little bit, but don't worry, we'll keep within reason. First off, the Toho version of King Kong was much larger when he fought Godzilla. He was only half the size in the King Kong Escapes movie in which Mechani-Kong was introduced. What we're going to do is we're going to make him in the shadow of the larger Toho King Kong. That Kong was 45 meters tall and weighed 25,000 tons, so we can assume a robot version would come in closer to 50 meters tall and end up weighing in around 40,000 metric tons. This puts the two metal Kaiju at an even height and weight. Unfortunately, we'll have to do some more modifications to make this fight work. First off, Mechani-Kong died easily when he fell from Tokyo Tower, so we're going to construct him of a metal that is similar in toughness to the space titanium that Mecha-G is created from. On top of that, Mechani-Kong really had no weapons beyond some very weak grenades, ultra bright lights, and a hypnotic light mounted on top of his head. With all the weapons that Mecha-G has at his disposal, we're going to have to do some weaponization to Mechani-Kong. But again, let's do this within reason. Let's replace that silly hypnotic light with a laser similar in power to the cross attack beam on Mecha-G's chest. Next up, we're going to give a major upgrade to his grenades so they can actually do some damage and possibly stun other Kaiju. Lastly, we're going to add Kong's power to absorb and release electricity to Mechani-Kong. The benefit here being that Mechani-Kong would not need to get hit by lightning in order to do this, as he can supply his own electricity from within. What Mechani-Kong is going to have to do is rely on his speed, maneuverability, and melee strength, whereas MechaGodzilla will use his varied range attack abilities to keep Mechani-Kong at a distance. So how would this fight shape up? First off, where the battle takes place will have a huge impact on the fight. If there are buildings or trees or mountains to hide behind, then this is to Mechani-Kong's benefit. He can use his quickness in order to dodge and hide behind shelter, choosing the right time to attack, or to get in close enough to render the ranged abilities of Mecha-G ineffective. If the fight takes place in an open field, I have a hard time seeing Mechani-Kong be able to get in close enough to do any real melee damage. His newly added laser attack and powered up grenades would help, but Mecha-G just has too much in the area of ranged attacks. Even if Mechani-Kong is able to get in close, if Mecha-G is able to put up the Neo defense tech, then the Robot Kong would have to back off and seek cover once again. In order for Mechani-Kong to win this fight, he is going to need cover and he's going to need some patience. He'll have to let Mecha-G blast away at him, hoping he can dodge the maelstrom of incoming projectiles and lasers. If he's able to do this, then perhaps he can use his grenades in order to stun Mecha-G so that he can get in close and quickly lay down some electrically charged melee damage on Mecha-G before he can get his defenses up. If he's able to do this, I can easily see him being able to not only rip the head casing off of MechaGodzilla, but I could see him be able to destroy the inner head with his enormously powerful arms. He has to be quick. He'll need to see an opening and take it without hesitation, or he's toast. For Mecha-G to win the fight, he simply needs to keep Mechani-Kong at a distance. His vast array of attacks are enough to keep almost any kaiju at bay. We saw how well he was able to do against another melee fighter in King Caesar, so if he uses a similar fighting style, he shouldn't have a problem with Mechani-Kong. With enough laser and missile fire, he should be able to damage the Robot Kong long enough to make him retreat. In the end, I'm going to have to give the edge to Showa MechaGodzilla. Mecha-G just has too many weapons, and his Neo defense ability would be able to stop Mechani-Kong from using his strength, which would be his melee attacks. Even if the fight were to include cover, I think if Mecha-G was patient enough, he would still be able to win this fight at least 3 out of 5 times. If Mechani-Kong can surprise and stun Mecha-G, then there's a chance he can get in the knockout punch, but I can't see MechaGodzilla allowing this to happen without being ready for it. I will admit though, if I gave Mechani-Kong more offensive weapons, especially due to his melee prowess, then I think he'd be the winner here, but I didn't want to change him too much. So there you have it. Winner, Showa era MechaGodzilla. I hope you guys liked this episode. Since the moment I first saw Mechani-Kong, I wanted him to fight MechaGodzilla. The robot version of Kong is still badass in my book, and I bet he'll return for even more kaiju battles in the future. So which kaiju do you guys want to see fight? There are plenty of dream monster fights out there that we've never been privileged enough to see. So now is the time to let me know what you think the next kaiju battle should be. If you liked the episode, if you could leave a like, it helps out the channel so much. And if you haven't subscribed yet, why not subscribe for all the future Godzilla goodness to come? Thanks again for watching, take care, and I hope to see you in the next kaiju battle.